all the most essential camera gear for filming a high quality documentary while still keeping it as lightweight and small as possible. So my main camera right now is the Sony A7 III. This is a mirrorless camera, and I have a 24 to 240 millimeter lens on here. This camera shoots in 4K. It's definitely not the lightest or smallest camera out there, but I think it combines the best of both worlds, having super high quality stills and video capability while also being relatively small. And it's kind of the same thing with this lens. It's definitely not the smallest lens you can get, but I can shoot wide angle landscapes and stuff like that at 24 millimeters, but also if I see wildlife or something far away, I can zoom into 240, and that's a pretty good zoom range. To have that wide of a zoom range in one lens is important for me. I definitely don't want to be carrying more than one lens on these backpacking trips, so it's kind of nice to have all of that inside of one lens. Then this green bag always goes along with this camera. Inside of here it's kind of all of the essentials that I need to use the camera. A bunch of batteries. The batteries for the A7 III are actually pretty good. They last a long time. But I still have 5 of them. On top of shooting all the video, I like to shoot a lot of time lapses, and those really drain batteries. Especially if I'm shooting a star time lapse, I'm going to let that run all night basically, so I can guarantee that if I shoot a star time lapse, that's going to cost me 1 battery. And if I'm on a multiple night trip, that'll add up pretty quick. And then on top of that, I have this Anker battery pack. There's a million different options you can get as far as these battery packs go. There isn't really a wrong choice, it just kind of depends what you need, how small you need it to be, and how much power you need. And what else I have in this green bag, this is a couple of filters. Pretty much all I ever use is a variable ND filter and a circular polarizer. My variable ND filter came in this metal tin. This thing's really nice to have. It's lightweight, compact, and it does a really good job of protecting the filters. And I can put both of them in here. With a lot of camera gear, there's a lot of like individual little packaging and stuff like that things come in. But with backpacking, the more you can consolidate things into one package, the better off you are. Obviously, having lightweight and small gear is important, but I think having fewer items is really important too. That just helps with organization, and it helps you find things, and it makes grabbing gear a lot quicker. And then I also have this octopus cable. This is what I use to charge things off of this battery pack. So on one end it's got the USB, and then on all these other ends it's got a whole bunch of different plugs. So I've got USB-C, the iPhone charger, micro USB, and you can get all different kinds of these octopus cables kind of depending on what your needs are. Then I try to keep a whole bunch of these microfiber cloths in here. I'm always losing these and leaving them in pockets and stuff, so I just try to keep a whole bunch in here so I always have one to pull from. And the other thing, this is just a replacement GoPro battery, and this adapter here is for the drone, which I'll talk about next. But basically you can plug this into the drone battery, and it has a USB port on it, so I can actually charge things off of my drone battery. So it's really nice even after I've flown the drone, and I'll fly the drone down to about 20% battery. Even after that, I can still charge things with what's remaining of that battery. And then this is a kind of super minimalist way of storing my SD cards. These are just some battery covers for my old Canon camera, but I just have them rubber banded together, and then I have a few SD cards stored in here. These are just kind of backups. I usually don't have to use these. And then a different option, which is kind of much more rugged, much safer and better for your SD cards, but it's a little bit bulkier, is this Ruggard SD card case. And it just has a whole bunch of slots in there where you can store your SD cards. It's fully waterproof and really good for protecting cards. For audio, I have this Rode microphone. This is a VideoMicro mic. Super small, really lightweight, and actually surprisingly good audio quality. This very puffy dead cat wind muff does a really good job at cutting out wind noise, which is really important with these outdoor filmmaking projects. Wind is very frustrating sometimes, and it's very easy to ruin your audio if you don't have a good wind cover on your mic. So that's really important. And usually this mic just lives on the camera. So that's basically the setup. And then a kind of new addition to my kit is a different drone. My first drone was the DJI Mavic Pro, which is this one. As you can see, the package sizes are a little bit different. This weighs about half as much too. So I guess first I'll talk about the Mavic Pro. This is my first drone. I've had this since 2016, and it's an amazing piece of equipment. I was really blown away when I got this, and I've had a lot of fun flying it. For being the first foldable drone on the market, it was really kind of a game changer. Before this drone, if you had a drone, it would be in a package like this big. You'd need like a full backpack just to carry the drone. So this really changed everything. This is how big it is once the arms are flipped out. And it's a very capable tool for photography, both stills and video. It shoots in 4K and it shoots raw pictures. So it's really amazing what kind of technology it packed into here. I took that on a couple backpacking trips, and while it was doable, it was just a little bit too much weight and a little bit too much bulk to kind of make it feasible for really long distance trips. I actually started out the Hayduke Trail with this package, and I got to a point where I was beginning a 100-mile section, and there simply wasn't enough room in my backpack for the drone and 100 miles worth of food. So I kind of had to choose between drone or food, and that choice was simple enough. I had to send the drone home. This package can carry 4 batteries with the controller and everything. But just this winter I sort of upgraded to a smaller package. So now I have the DJI Mavic Air. It comes with this case, and this just holds the drone. It's a really nice kind of minimalist case just to put the drone in there. And this basically is the exact same thing as the Mavic Air, but in a smaller package. They took all the same technology. It actually has slightly better video quality. Pretty much the same battery life, pretty much the same everything else. The only thing that's a downgrade from this drone compared to the Mavic Pro is the signal quality. They used a different type of radio connection, and my video feed cuts out a lot more often with the Mavic Air than it does with the Mavic Pro, which is kind of annoying, but it usually only happens when I'm around civilization, actually. When there's a lot of other radio frequencies in the air, like Wi-Fi and whatever other radio frequencies there are, those interfere with this drone a lot more than they do with the Mavic Pro. But when I'm out in the wilderness, there's not as much interference, and it doesn't seem to be as much of a problem. So I carry the drone in this kind of minimalist case, and then this gray case is where I store the controller and the batteries and stuff. 3 extra batteries plus the battery in the drone, so I carry 4 batteries and the controller, and I can just keep all those things together here. Then another new addition to the camera gear that I've gotten is this GoPro HERO7 Black. I think everybody knows what a GoPro is. They're pretty self-explanatory. And mostly I would use the GoPro to mount on my head. So I have this head strap, and I can get kind of interesting point of view shots and stuff like that with the GoPro. I've also mounted a GoPro mount on my trekking pole, so then I can put the GoPro on the trekking pole and kind of get interesting shots where I'm holding it out in front of me and stuff like that. The GoPro is also nice to have because it's totally waterproof, so even if it's like downpouring, I can always film stuff with the GoPro. If it is raining pretty hard, usually I'll have my other cameras and everything put away, and I usually don't take them out in the rain, even if it's only to get a quick shot. It's pretty easy to get a little bit of water on your camera, and then you put it away inside of a bag or something, and then it just sort of sits in that water. And I have definitely damaged cameras that way before. And then this is a tripod that I use. This is a carbon fiber tripod. It weighs about 2.5 pounds, which for a lot of people would be overkill. But since I do a lot of video work, it's kind of important to have a really sturdy tripod. And since I do a lot of time lapses, it's also important to have a sturdy tripod. You can't have something that's kind of lightweight and flimsy that's going to blow around in the wind. A really nice feature of this tripod is that the legs fold out like this, but you can also fold them out wider. So when it's really windy and I want to set up a time lapse or something, I can feel confident that the tripod's not going to blow over with this really wide stance. I have also broken cameras from tripods tipping over in the wind. That's happened a couple times, and it's not fun. This tripod also extends out to a decent length, so that leg is fully extended. And then you can also extend it a little bit farther with this neck. Goes up to. So that's about how tall I am. It's about 5 feet tall, which is a pretty good height. And then on top I have a ball head. These ball heads are more made for still photography than video. I would like to have a fluid head tripod on here for video to get smooth pans and stuff like that, but I still haven't found a good super compact fluid head for a tripod. Those are almost always big and bulky and just totally impractical for long distance backpacking trips. So I kind of just sacrifice being able to get smooth pans. It's nice to have the ball head because I can set up the tripod head on any angle really. The tripod doesn't have to be perfectly level. I can compensate by moving the ball head in any direction. And I specifically chose this ball head because it has the standard, this is called an Arca Swiss, or Archetype I think, tripod head. It's a very standard kind of old school photography tripod block. That this is what goes onto the camera, and that's how you attach it to the tripod head. But the important point of choosing that is that it also fits on this camera clip. This is a Peak Design camera clip, and this Arca Swiss mount also fits in here. And this is my backpack. This is another upgrade that I've gotten for long distance backpacking, but I'll get into that in a different video when I talk about all my hiking and backpacking and snowboarding gear. That's a whole separate topic. So that's pretty much it as far as the camera gear that I carry on longer distance backpacking trips where weight and bulk are kind of a priority when I have to keep those things as low as possible. Obviously I could go a lot lower. I could just film a whole documentary with my phone, but having really high quality video is also very important to me, so this is kind of the best compromise that I've found over the years.